with a standing ovation, I want us to welcome Daniel Boyfield Jr. as he welcomes and introduces our guest speaker. We like to call him Boyfield. Let's clap for Boyfield as he comes.
Accra. Charlie, the way they introduced me there, no, don't tell me to be sorry headed, but then. Accra. Are we ready? Oh, let's have a seat. We have a special person in our midst. I'm going to give you a brief intro on who that special person is. A very special person. She's an angel in a human's body. She has so many gifts and talents. In fact, when I'm done, see, I even have to use my phone because I can't keep all in my mind. So I have to use my phone to read. Alright. So let me start from the beginning. How many of you were born in 1991? So now you understand. Alright. So between 1991 to 1996, she was a consultant and vocation trainer at the IFPA. Between 1997 to 2002, she was the sales director at Adil Multimedia. Between 2003 to 2005, she was a student at the École Nationale d'Administration, Romain Gary class. In 2005, between 2005 to 2007, she was a senior civil servant and the head of the European and International Unit at the Directorate for Maritime, River and Road Transport at the Ministry of Transport, France. Between 2007 to 2012, she was the General Delegate of Amateur de France at the Ministry of Transport. Between 2012 to 2015, she was a social counselor in the Cabinet of the Minister of Defense. Between 2016 to 2018, she was the Director of Human Resources of the Ministry of Defense, that's France. And in September 2018, she was appointed Ambassador of France to Ghana by decree of the French President. Without much ado, can we all show love with a standing ovation? In fact, I'm not even done yet. Yes, let's be upstanding. Can you imagine? She's a queen mother here in Ghana. And then, last but not the least, or in fact, last but one, but not the least, she recently played a role in a movie, so she's an actress too. And then, the last but not the least, she's the host of one of the most watched TV shows here in Ghana right now, Touch of France. She's an angel. You can do better. Accra. Let's welcome Her Excellency Sophie Avé, the French Ambassador to Ghana. You can do better. Excellency, welcome to Accra Academy, the school of no regrets. The 8th best school in Africa, first in Ghana. As for our girls' school, the second in Ghana. They can be the second in Ghana. But we are the best school in Ghana and then the 8th best school in Africa. Welcome to the best school in Ghana.
Thanks very much. Good morning. I'm French, so do you know how to say good morning in French? Bonjour. Okay. Oh, can you sit down, please? Sorry. Okay, now you caught your breath, so shall we try again? Bonjour. Okay. Etienne. for having me. My name is Sophie Avé and I'm the French ambassador to Ghana. Thanks very much, DBJ, for this curriculum vitae, which is a short version. And not so much, no, sorry, it's interesting. When DBJ asked me, would you like to come and speak to the youth? I thought, why on earth would I speak to the youth? As he very rudely reminded you, I started my career in 1991. Most of you weren't even born. And I was already a professional. So, and to add to it, he said, how about talking about inspiring the youth through new technologies and science? For Christ's sake, my Instagram account, he just built it for me. So that is a few months ago. And I'm only a beginner on social networks. When I was born, the television was still in black and white. We didn't have mobile phones, much as incredible as it may sound. We had telephones with a long wire, and when we wanted to have some privacy, we had to drag onto the wire and hide and close the doors. But anyone could pick up from another phone and listen to what you were saying, which my parents used to do quite a lot. At that time, we didn't have the internet. I'm sure you wonder how we could live without the internet, but actually we did. And all that to say that when I grew up, I was at school, I was thinking of the kind of studies I wanted to do and the kind of career I wanted to have. But the actual jobs that were created by the time I got old enough to go into professional life, they did not exist when I was in school. There was no computer science, there was no teaching of computing, there was no teaching about internet, there was no such thing. None of my teachers could have told me, you should go into computing science, because that's the future. Because we had no idea. The jobs that you will be holding along, most of this do not yet exist. Because it is your generation that is going to make them up. You are going to shape tomorrow's world. You are going to invent yourself tomorrow's world. The big difference between my generation, and actually I'm a grandmother, so obviously I am like 2 generations ahead of you, and my future is behind me. The difference with your generation is how fast things go. When I wanted to communicate along in the world, but even in the village next to mine, we had to write a letter. I know this is completely archaeology for you, but we used to take a paper, to write with a pen, fold the paper, put it in the envelope, put a stamp, write the address and send it. That was the way we communicated. Now you send an email. So the huge difference is that everything is instant. The communication is instant. The desire is instant. And everything now is much, much faster. Everything also is completely global. You don't really need to travel the world to have an insight of what the world looks like. You go onto the internet. You can communicate on a daily basis with someone who may be sitting in Australia. You may communicate with people all around the world. When I used to travel when I was your age, calling back home, we had to schedule it. We had to organize it. Now, I've been in Ghana for 3 years, and I speak to my children every day. I see them every day because of WhatsApp video. It doesn't amaze you because you were born with it. But to me, it's a huge change. Can you imagine being far from home and have no possibilities whatsoever to contact your parents when you are in the middle of nowhere and you need to reach out for For your parents to say that you will be late, you had to go to the telephone booth and queue up, because there was always someone using it. So the big difference is now everything is quicker and is more global. And you are much better armed than we are, because you were born with it. For you, the world has no borders. As I could see, your talent doesn't have borders either. I've seen that you really have some amazing comedians, dancers, musicians, even here on this stage. I echo to them. I echo. Thank you. But ever since I arrived in Ghana, I've met many young people with incredible projects in the area of media, in the area of industry, in the area of design, creativity. What matters, well, I suppose you expect me to give you some advices, which I am not the best place to do, but I will try. What matters in a career, considering that your career is going to be nothing like mine, because it's just a different century, believe it or not, it's a different century. How many of you are millennials, were born after 2000? Just raise, oh my God. Oh my God. So you were all born in 2000 something? Yeah. Oh gosh, that's a tough call for me. Oh gosh. Okay. So you are millennials. So your career are going to be very different. Yet, your human remains human. So there are stuff that really helped me and that you might encounter as well in your own career. The first is network. Network. No, I wasn't born with a network. I was born in a family, normal, regular family, and I didn't have parents who had big networks, you know, the kind of parents you could go to and say, can you ask your friend so-and-so to get me a job here? I couldn't do that. And even if I could, I wouldn't have done that. Because then everyone thinks that you got the job thanks to your dad or your uncle. Not very comfortable. So, I still had to build a network. And the way to do it is to actually work. Any chance you have to work, to create connections, do internships, be curious, talk to people, grasp some commercial cards. This is important because I've come to realize that after 30 years, maybe a bit more of career, no 30, you keep stumbling into the same people. The world is so small. You keep meeting the people you have met like 20 years before. So if they kept a good opinion of you, if there are people that you know, when it comes to applying for a position, then they will remember you. So build yourself a network. The network as well among your fellow co-students. You never know, maybe one of you will become the next president of Ghana. Which one? These ones, okay. See, so be friends with these guys, you never know. From my experience, the ones who are the most successful are usually not the ones that are the most visible in the class. Amazingly, in the classes I was in, the one who is now the president of France was quite a shy guy, not mixing with others so much. We knew he was brilliant, but we wouldn't have thought he would be president 10 years later. So be good to all of them, you never know. Sometimes the odd man out is the one that will eventually stick out, precisely because he was the odd man out. So, first thing is create yourself a network. Even if it's family, if it's internships, if it's helping your parents with their businesses, any kind of links, connections that you create will eventually be useful. Linked to this network thing, people will always be very grateful when you are there for them, when they are no longer successful. When someone is very successful, has an important position, he has lots of friends, lots of all-time friends. But the moment he's going through a dire straits, losing his or her job, or not yet in a new position, that's when he or she will need you. And they will be grateful forever if you are there in these moments. A lot of chances of my career are thanks to those people who everyone had let down at the moment when they were no longer in a strong position. I kept calling them, I kept supporting them, and then they suddenly bounced and had a new important position, and they never forgot that I supported them in difficult times. Network not only with important people, but also take a bet on people who may have a difficult moment. Because even if they do not bounce, they will always say good things about you, and that matters. And the world is so small, there's always someone who knows someone who will talk about you. So make sure people have good things to say about you. And more generally, I know it sounds a bit maybe ridiculous to say, or sassy, be good to people. It doesn't cost much to be kind. It doesn't cost much to be good. But at the end of the day, it pays off. Not even at the end of the day. The moment you are good, you feel good. And if that was only for this reason, making yourself feel good, proud of yourself, because you laid a hand, because you helped someone, because you gave a smile to someone who hopelessly needed one, it makes you feel good. And that already is worth it. But at the end of the day, this person will be grateful, and you will make more friends. You will have more people who support you. And when you are going through dire straits, those people will be there for you. You will have many inspiring people who will say, have a goal in life and go for it. Trust yourself. Believe in yourself. This is probably all true. But what matters the most is that none of us is an island. None of us is alone. None of us is succeeding alone. So maybe complementary to other inspiring leaders could tell you, it is not so much about your willpower that matters, about you having a goal and sticking to it that matters. And it is true, it does. But to me, it is the relationship, the connections, the network that we create with others. Because always remember, we never ever succeed alone. Always be grateful for those who help you. Success is always collective, but failure is always individual. If you ever fail, don't worry, it will all be on you, and there will be no one there to support you. So, I'm very ready to answer any questions that you want to ask me. Anything. If you want to know how to become an ambassador, to which I will answer, I don't know. Whatever questions you would like, I'm very happy to answer. I'm not so good at pitching, but I can learn, and I don't speak much tree apart médasse pas.
Okay, so the floor is open. If you have any questions you want her to answer for you, please just yeah.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I want to find out that if, like in the near future, it's my goal to have a position of influence like yours, being an ambassador or a minister of state What are the things I can do to prepare now and to lay the foundation? Thank you.
You're never prepared for this. When I was offered a position as an ambassador, I was having a sip of coffee and I was shocked. I didn't expect it at all, and I'm learning every day. Do you know what? In France, and here as well, we have university hospitals. Hospitals where you have students. I always go to those university hospitals for one reason, is that when you are learning, when you are young and beginning, you have an open mind and you pay much more attention because you do not think that you already know. And for all the jobs and the in my career, I've always tried to keep a very clear and candid mind and never to believe that I already knew. So I had an open mind and I was paying attention to everything. Another thing, it might help, but it might not help. I never had a model. I never had a role model. For one reason, my generation, ministers, ambassadors, were mainly male. They were men. So, do I look like one? Not really. I didn't even have the faintest idea what it was like to be an ambassador, because I had never seen one, and I couldn't look like one. So I made up, with my own personality, what I thought be necessary, what I thought would be useful. I took it from the definition. What is an ambassador? It is someone who represents his or her country, creates bridges between the country he comes from and the country he's posted to. And to build those bridges, you have to know both shores of the bridge. Therefore, one of the roles of the ambassador is also to get an intimate knowledge of the country you are posted in. To do so, of course, an experience of your own administration is always useful because you know what you're talking about. And having been in the French administration helped a lot, because when I have issues with your Ministry of Finance wanting to talk to my Ministry of Finance, I write, again, network. But about Ghana, all I knew was what I could see in the books, was what I could read on the internet. And had I arrived with prejudice, thinking, oh, I know everything about Ghana. This is a country with a strong economy, a middle-income country. They produce gold and oil and cocoa, and looking at that from very macro economy. And then I would have sat in my embassy thinking that because I had read the right things about the history, geography, and economy of Ghana, I knew everything. I don't think I would have been successful, but more of that, I would have been bored. Because the true wealth, the true asset of Ghana is the people. And if you don't go to villages, if you don't go and mix with the people to meet them, you cannot pretend you know Ghana if you don't know Ghanaians. And you can't pretend you know Ghanaians if you have only been in Accra. So, again, network, get to know people. That is the best way of getting prepared to any kind of position, be it influential or not. That is the best way to be successful. Among the little things that I studied in university, law, economics, business, and all sorts of things, I loved studying. I absolutely loved it. It was the best years of my life. So make the most of these studies, best time of your life. Now, as you noted, in 2004, I went back to study. I was 33. I went back to study because I thought it is a blessing when you get to study, sit there, listen, learn. It's just a blessing, and I love studying. Why was I saying that? Among all the studies and certificates, degrees that look good on my CV. The most useful thing I studied was psychology. Because wherever I was, whatever the organization, whatever the country, whether it was men, women, young, old, African, European, American, wherever, there's one thing we all have in common. It's psychology. Human is human. There's no way different reaction, people would react differently in one country or another. Actually, human is human. If you get beaten, you beat back. If you get smiled at, you smile back. That is simple as that. Psychology. That is what was the most useful certificate studies that I did. Probably because I needed it, because I didn't have that embedded in my DNA, so I needed to learn it. Some people have a sixth sense and they don't need it. So, yeah, when it comes to studies, if you allow me, go for things that you have no real appetite for, because your weaknesses are precisely what eventually will be a handicap at the end of the day. I hated computer science when I went to study for one reason. It was brand new. Computers weighed a ton. It took half an hour to switch on. And it was, you have no idea. Now you switch on, you have a beautiful window, you have colors and everything. We only had numbers. We had to press one key with the elbow, another one with the nose, and another one with the finger to eventually get somewhere. So I just hated it. It was about programming, I didn't understand a thing, and I hated it. I went for it. Because somehow I thought, I cannot live without it. I hated finance, companies financing. I hated it. I just didn't understand a word of what was going on in the stock exchanges. I couldn't understand why money could actually be a product that people would buy and sell. That was beyond my understanding. Well, when it came to choosing a specialty in my last year of the MBA, I went for finance because I thought, gosh, I cannot graduate and leave a big hole somewhere in my library with a part of business administration that I do not understand. So sometimes, yes, force yourself to go for things that you have no appetite. Because if you do that in the beginning, then when it comes to your career, you can go for things and only things that you are happy about, that you like, that you love, and you're just blessed. A word for the ladies. It doesn't matter to be a woman. It's more or less an asset. We have some assets. We shouldn't try to be like men. We are different. We are all different among ourselves. So we have to find what our strengths are and go and use them. Don't let anyone tell you are a woman so you can't do this or this. I heard that a few times. My answer was quite rude, I must say. It began by an F, if you see what I mean. You can't do that, you're a woman. I replied, F you, right? It is no big deal. We're a woman, so what? I'm not a woman, I'm an ambassador. I'm not a woman, I was a director. I am not a woman, I am a student. And if we compete, I might be better than you. So, what's the problem? So, yes, it's going to be harder for us. It's going to be harder. Until those young men know how to do the washing up, cleaning, change the baby's diapers and do it spontaneously without us having to ask them. We still have another 1 or 2 generations to get there. Yes, when we finish our day's work, we still have the housework to do. But we can do it because we're stronger. And we develop an ability to do several things at the same time. It just makes us stronger. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger. So use any obstacle, any hurdle as an opportunity to become stronger, because that's the only way to go. And don't anything stop you. If something stops you, go around and try again.
Please, anyone else?
Madam, please, I would like to ask, assuming a student who is confused and doesn't know what to do, doesn't know what career to do, and is in school and is just devastated, what advice would you give to that child? Yes.
You are so right. Actually, when I was studying in the School of Commerce, studying an MBA, I had joined for only one reason. Both my parents graduated from there. I had no idea what I wanted to do. All I knew was that I needed to keep all my options open. So I chose these studies because I knew that people who graduated from these MBAs, they could go to companies, they could go to legal, to human resources, to finance. They had their options open. It is not a big deal if 17, 18, you don't know what you want to do in life. You've hardly lived 1/4 of your life, and you are asked at a time when you would like to party and think of boys. Suddenly you have to make decisions for the rest of your life. How tough is that? So if you know that you want to be a doctor, that's the dream of your life, you always wanted to do that, go for it. If you want to be a lawyer, you've always wanted to do that, go for it. But if you don't know, keep your options open. Try. Maybe you will discover that you like let it flow with the waves and see where it leads you. And this will slowly build by testing, by trying, it will build your opinion. And you say, now I know what I want to do. Maybe not what I want to do, but I know the list of things I don't want to do. And then, life is much longer than it used to be. We used to die age 40, 50. Now we live like 65, 70. And your generation will probably live even longer. So, when I said I would start again when I was 33. Yes, if you realize that the studies you have gone for and the kind of options it opens for you in terms of career, you're not happy with it, start again. Go back to school. When you are 30, you are 34, 33. I went back to school. I had 3 kids at home. One was like 10, one was 7, one was 3.5. I went back to school. I took an exam and I went back to school. It was not easy, but it was so exciting, thinking that it was suddenly reopening a new door. You're not bound to stay in a career that you do not like. Save money as much as you can and start again. If you want something really, really hard, you will always find one person who will help you. You will. And that's why network, contacts, connections. But it's perfectly fine to be confused when you are 18. I had no ideas what I wanted to do when I was 18. I don't think I had any ideas when I was 25. And I don't think I know, age 50-something, that I know now what I want to do. I don't even know what I want to do retire. I have no idea. And keeping this open mind, instead of saying, oh my God, I'm undecisive, this is bad, I made it an asset. I said, okay, not knowing might be a good thing because I keep my mind open. I keep my options open. And good things happen. And other good things will happen.
I would like to ask, Ghana like this, our educational system is very limited. And assuming I would like to offer archaeology, it wouldn't fetch me much money as compared to how it would in the foreign country. So how would you advise me to look for a better career?
Archaeology is fantastic. We are funding the Department of Archaeology, UG. So So they now have brand new equipment. They have fantastic teaching. I would like you to realize that Ghana wasn't born after independence, nor was it born with the British, nor was it born with the first visit by the Portuguese. You have here in Ghana records and signs that Ghana was a market that was the center of West Africa all the way back to the 11th century. In a place called Beko, in the Bono region, where indeed I am, and also Hema. This place, you can find in the ground traces, potteries, former weapons, heads of arrows that show that there was civilization here in the Middle Age, in the 11th century. That it was a market where people from West Africa, North Africa, from Egypt were congregating to do trade here in Ghana. So not only is Ghana the center of the world, it also was the center of the world's trade as far back as the Middle Age. Choosing archaeology as a specialty is a way of looking into this history and making Ghanaians proud of their history. Because too many history books describe the history of Ghana since colonization and shortly before. But the history of Ghana is much richer than that. And only archaeologists, through proofs of a life in civilization and a very developed one, before Middle Age, this will help people know where they come from. And we need to know where we come from when we want to know where we're going.
Yes, you mentioned that we should build a network of people also in the school. Looking at Ghana right now, pardon me to say, but the integrity level of our leaders is not that encouraging. So you need a network in order to get a high position in Ghana right now. So looking at someone in the village also who doesn't have the network but have the qualities to really manage the affairs of the nation, because right now I think that is what we need to progress, because when it comes to resources and other things, I think we are all down to what we are lacking as a country are people to really do the work. But what if the people we need are somewhere where they cannot build the network that they need to progress the country? What is your take on this? Thank you.
The people you're talking to, they are already very old, and by the time you are in power, they will be gone. So it is up to you. The generation that will be ruling Ghana in the decade is you. The level of, how do you call that, honesty, fairness, it depends on you, because it's going to be you. The people who are in power are doing whatever they can with the rules of the game that they have at the moment. They won't be there in 20 years. They will not. It is up to you. If you look at the history of Ghana, the people who are in power, some of them took it. They created political parties. But power is not only political, it can be business. Create your own businesses. Get together to create a business. And you are going to write the rules. And if your rules are to be fair and honest, no corruption, no cheating, it is up to you, because this is your world. Shape it. No one is going to do it for you. So the people who are currently ruling Ghana, they were young one day, and they probably had dreams as well. They may have, some of them, lost their dreams along the way. But it's up to you to change things. Remember that France, because that's the contrary to the West, has become a democracy. It has taken us 230 years to get where we are now. French Revolution was 1789. and it was followed by a whole 100, maybe more, 110 years of instability. Ghana has reached democracy in 1992. Okay, for you it looks like last century, but to me it was like yesterday. And all the democratic countries of the West, it has taken them 200 years and more to get where they are. And what we now expect from African countries is to catch up in a few decades. So every generation matters, and what you are going to do to shape the country matters, because that really is the mindset that is going to be dominant in a decade. It's your mindset. If you think corruption is about me, in 10 years, you will be in power. And there will be no corruption anymore. Well, believe you me, it's not an African thing. We've got that everywhere.
I think this is the last question. Good morning, madam. We are over here in Accra. We are very passionate about football. So I want to ask if there are any opportunities for talented guys over here, over in France. And my last question is, what was the secret behind France winning the World Cup?
That's a tough call, because we intended to win the Euro 2020 as well. Fortunately, the Swiss, we didn't even know they had a team, but they kicked us out. But well done, Italy, so it's fine. Yes, of course, there are opportunities. There's so much opportunities that some of your best players eventually played France and the UK instead of staying in Ghana. Yes, we pinched Marcel Desailly from you. He was born in Ghana, grew up in France, and yes, he came to play in France. And at the end of the day, he came back to play for the Ghana team. Same for Andre and Jordan Ayew, who play for the Ghana team. Yes, if you have a huge talent, you will be noticed. And yes, there are opportunities everywhere in the world, actually, not only France. There are opportunities also in Ghana. My wish is that Ghana will one day, and hopefully soon, win the World Cup. You have the best players. It will be 2022, 26. But I'm sure there's space for Ghana to win the World Cup up to a point, because all your players are fantastic. Okay, so let's fingers crossed for that one, and I will happy to celebrate with you. Thanks very much for being such a great audience. Please, if you want to follow, I have an Instagram account. Yeah. DBJ. I also have a Twitter account, and my parents couldn't believe it, my children even less. And also, if you'd like to, on Twitter, YouTube, you can see all the seasons of Touch of France. You go on YouTube and you type Touch of France, like a touch of France, and you will see the first season, you will see the episode with Amélie Pelé-Marcel Desailly, episode with Sarkozy, with Bolloré, I know you're a great fan of, and many other Ghanaian VIPs. Of course, there was one with the President of Ghana that was aired last Wednesday, but you can still see it on YouTube. And I hope to count you among my viewers for the season 2 that will be launched, hopefully, in September. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you. And I say bye.
Oh, please,
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. You can take your seat. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.